Imagine going into receive service, a government service or anything, and feeling like you need to masquerade who you are as a human being. Holy man, I couldn't live like that. I was so devastated. I'm so passionate about, like, it's getting me crazy where I couldn't imagine a human being having to do that, having to go through that. And I'm sorry for everybody out there that's ever made anybody feel that way. It's so sad. It's sad. It's so sad because we should be able to accept one another regardless of what that fucking love looks like. We should be able to just love one another, and that's it, with no prejudice, no racism, no nothing. And just love is love, and that's it.
Hit it!
That's what I'm talking about.
Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
All right, this is Real Talk with Carmen Costa. Did I jump into that, Jamie?
No, you're good.
Okay,
You're good.
I'm good.
You're good.
All right, so today I wanted to talk about something that this weekend, so everybody knows I'm doing this death doula certificate. Doesn't mean I'm going to be a death doula right away. So everybody calm down, right? I love mortgages. This is what I want to do. When it comes to the death doula, this is something I'm looking at when I retire. But I do want to start doing some, not like, I want to have experience. You know how like people are like, how long have you been a death doula? Well, one day, because I just retired like at 60, whatever, right?
And if you want to find out more about this topic, there's a video.
There is a video. We'll put it up, like the video, so you can see what it's about. But this weekend was interesting. So this weekend she brought on a lot of people, and I was very uncomfortable with learning the different processes, right? So I was talking to Lisa about this on Monday. I'm like, how do you feel about this whole thing? So the one topic was funeral directors. Like, so just to know the process of like funeral directors, right? And I was like, oh, okay, this is basic. I went through this with my dad. But as they start talking about the different levels of like cremation and how cremation is done, I started getting like, I wasn't feeling good. I was like, I don't really want to dive deep into this stuff, but they made us dive in. Okay, sorry, they didn't make us. She said you could turn off your camera. You can, you know, I understand if it's an uncomfortable topic, but I'm getting to a point on this, right? So the second woman that came on, and I was so, like, I wasn't ashamed. I was more disappointed in myself that I was in a bubble.
Okay. Now I'm curious.
I don't want to butcher this. The LGBTQ, right? And like she's a part of the organization, so she for death doulas. And I'm like, well, why does it have to have a separate category, right? And so then she started talking. There's 72 of us in this course, right? And she's talking about it, and she made me realize, you know, I'm so ignorant on this that I didn't think I needed to be educated on it, because love is love for me, and I love everybody wholeheartedly. Everybody is welcome for me, and literally no, you know, it doesn't even matter, culture, everything. But I started to, so she was talking about just some of the things that she had gone through, you know, being gay in that, right? She identifies as queer. I was shocked because people were like, you know how you sit there and you're like, well, why does this have to be talked about? Love is love, right? Love is love. Like, who cares? Love is love. But then you start hearing about the people in the group. There was like maybe 20 of them that came forward talking about like oppression that they've been through. That when they go into the hospital, they have to just, you know, if they're, and here's something that I learned, that I always say, you know, your partner. I never say husband or wife and assume. I never do that, right? But she's like, sometimes when I get questioned, I will say, yes, husband, because I don't want different service. I'm like, is that what this? And then people were coming forward talking about their experiences. And I was like, I was in tears. I was like, this is happening. Like, this happens. Like, we're 2022. Why is this happening? Regardless, here's something. It's not even just that group. I brought that group forward because it was a realization when I stood in front of the Zoom call. I was in tears. I turned off my camera because I was in tears, because love is love to me. And maybe I was just, and I'm so sorry that I was so ignorant to this topic, right? Ignorant, because to me, love is love. I love everybody. But not even that. It's like, let's talk about all cultures, right? Like, there's like prejudice, racism, and I'm shocked. Like, we're 2022.
Yeah, I know.
And we're at this point, right? Where, you know, and then, so then I started doing research, and I wanted to change my policy within TCG to ensure that nobody has discrimination, because I don't represent that at all. But here's the thing. There's still people out there that exist like that are like,
No, don't be so surprised. Unfortunately, that is the case.
I was so shocked. I was in tears. Like, I love this one guy that's on my, Michael. I love him. He's on my call. Like, he's one of the guys. And I swear, if I ever open up a retreat, he's so going to be one of the practitioners there. I just want everybody to know I love him. But he was talking about his experience, and I was like bawling. Like, I don't want him to go through that. I don't want anybody to go through that. But he said that when he came from Vancouver, came to Toronto. He thought Toronto was more diverse, and then he got punched in the face. And somebody was talking derogatory towards, I don't even want to repeat it. But I was like, I couldn't imagine. My heart broke because I care about everybody in that group, right? Because we've grown together. We're doing this class together. And we had a breakout, me and Michael, and I love him. I love everything about him. And I'm like, I couldn't imagine, like, I would probably fight for him, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I just didn't know, and now that I know, I want to 100%, be aware of it. Like, I want to be aware of this, because you think, oh, well, it's 2022. That can't be happening. But unfortunately, it does, right? It does. So my thing is, I brought this forward because it's more about, like, what are some of the things we can do, as individuals. And I believe wholeheartedly I will continue to have my doors open to anybody wanting to start at TCG. 100%. I never, ever look at the skin color or whatever. It's all about who the individual's heart is, right? But I wonder, like, we've talked about this before. It's our upbringing, right? So, how are humans formed, right? Like, it's our layers. Like, we talked about this before in one of the segments about layers. But I have to say, like, I'm so grateful for having the best parents, best brothers and sisters, because that was never something that was talked about, like, in our house, right? It was more about if somebody respected you, you respected that person, right? And that's how I operate. I've operated on this, right? Like, and it doesn't even matter who you are, but if I get respect, I'll respect you twofold, like tenfold. Is it tenfold or twofold? I never know.
It depends on how many folds you want.
Okay, so it's tenfold, right? But if you do, I do respect. But if you also, give me attitude, I'm going to give attitude back. I pretty much mirror what that person does. And I think I put a quote on Facebook where everybody was like, "Oh my God, what is this about?" I'm loving this sharing because I get a lot of people interacting with me. But I shared that, I pretty much, my attitude depends on who or how you act towards me, right? Like, I can be different to anybody. Like, I could be the best person to you, but another person that, doesn't sit well, we're not, I pretty much mirror how people, deal with me. But usually I just don't talk to people that are not nice, right? To me, right?
So that's how I energy. You feel the energy, right?
And I get a lot of this, you can't just cut off people in your life. Well, you actually can. You can. I don't mean to, like, hurt people's feelings, but if you keep toxic relationships around you, it affects you as a human being. So I want to be at my superior level. That means that I, myself, want to be the best version of me for the people that deserve me, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So to me, it's like, I want to ensure that, I get rid of the layers that are not meant to be there, right? And it sucks because some people are like, it must be nice. How could you just cut off people? How can you just do that? For my own well-being, for my own mental health, like, for me, right? Because I used to do that. You know me. I used to, like, keep people around that didn't deserve to have me. Yeah. Right? In my true form, right? So I believe wholeheartedly we come to this point where surround yourself with the best beings. Doesn't matter what that being looks like. It's their heart that matters, right? And we've grown up in culture, like, in these cultures and, like, our, personalities and people around us that have affected us or influenced us. We're now adults. We need to take accountability for who we are today. Right? I can't say to you, Jamie, oh, well, it's because of the way I was brought up. That doesn't work anymore. You need to work on you to better yourself for anybody around you. And it's scary because, when I heard this on Saturday, I was, like, taken back. And, Lisa said something that was right. She's like, because you don't think that way. So yes, I lived in a bubble, but I lived in a bubble of love, man. I love everybody. So to me, it didn't make sense. It made me sick. I was sick, like, and then, talking to my husband, he's like, yeah, that does happen. What are you talking about? I'm like, I want to make sure my culture never endures that, right? So there's zero discrimination against anybody for that matter, right? But like, it's just, I think it's more about apologizing for being in this bubble that, you assume everybody's getting the same service, same love.
But you shouldn't be apologizing. You were the one doing it right.
Yeah. No, you're right. I felt like, I just wasn't aware. Like, I believe, imagine, Jamie, going into receive service, a government service or anything, and feeling like you need to masquerade who you are as a human being. Holy man, I couldn't live like that. I was so devastated. I'm so passionate about, like, it's getting me crazy where I'm like, imagine going in and being like, all right, I'm just going to masquerade so that person doesn't judge me. What that person thinks. That's who you are. Be that person. Like, that stuff just makes me so annoyed. Like, and I'm working on it because I can't fathom in 2022, somebody has to masquerade who they are as a human being to make somebody else comfortable, to give them the best service. That is so mind blown. Yeah. Like, and honestly, I didn't want to swear and I swore.
It's okay.
But
I'll
honestly,
beep it out.
yeah. But honestly, it's upsetting because I couldn't imagine a human being having to do that, having to go through that. And I'm sorry for everybody out there that's ever made anybody feel that way. It's so sad. It's sad. It's so sad because we should be able to accept one another regardless of what that fucking love looks like. We should be able to just love one another and that's it, with no prejudice, no racism, no nothing. And just love is love and that's it. And that's what I mean. Like, when the instructor who's like running this, this program and is the head of the program, even her feeling that she needs to cover who she is as a human being, that is so sad. Like, that just makes me, and that's what I mean. Like, am I overthinking it? No, I just never knew. I thought we were 2022, bro. Like, I'm like, we're 2022. Why are we going backwards? Like, how are people feeling this way? Like, no, I can't imagine that. So it's sad. And I'll tell you, not for nothing, I can guarantee TCG does not stand for that. I can guarantee we are love is love and period. And if there is discrimination, this will be the first time and the only time that I say this. Zero tolerance. It would be like you're terminated the very next day if I hear about it, because I don't tolerate that shit, because I know I'm not that person. I can guarantee. And I can't imagine somebody not feeling comfortable to receive a service, a government service. That's horrific. You know what I mean? Like, going to a hospital and not feeling like you could be yourself, that's horrific. You know what I mean? Love is love. Like, that's it. And who is anybody to say what love looks like? Like, who is anybody? Like, who is anybody to say love has to be, this, and that's true love? It's not. It's not. Love is love. Love has no boundaries. Love has no restrictions, period. And nobody can define love. Nobody can, right? You can't put a picture together and say that's what love looks like, because every love comes in different forms and that's how it works. And it's scary that I have to, I'm not even kidding you. 2 hours when this woman talked, I was so attentive and I was like disturbed and I was like crying as people were talking about their experiences, because I love these people in the room. You know what I mean? I don't care what their personal life is. I don't care. I love them. They have good hearts. They want to be death doulas. They want to help people cross over. They want to build legacies with people. That is compassion. That is empathy. You're not going to find a bunch like that, right? And then these people have to feel like they can't be who they are. That's disturbing. That's what bothers me about this whole situation. And, coming on to talk about it, I was like, you know what? Should I? No, I should. Because I just didn't know this was happening. I didn't. I had no clue.
Society still has a lot of this going on, and it's sad that we, like you're saying, in 2022 we're still talking about this.
I know,
but I think it's now our responsibility to put out the right amount of energy out there and
100%.
And explain to people who might not see things the right way. Try to explain to them how things should be. right?
100%.
It's what you're saying. It's not anything to, it doesn't have anything to do with the color, the gender, whatever it is. It's your heart.
It is.
It
It's
is.
100%. It's based on, you know, who that the heart. Like, and I always say this to you. I'm like, I read energy, and energy comes in all forms, man. Like, it doesn't even matter. I'm an energy person, you know, and I say this wholeheartedly. Sometimes people have good energy, sometimes they have bad, right? And it
Absolutely.
doesn't even matter who they are, right?
You can tell when they walk into the room.
Oh my God!
Right
you
away.
can. Oh my God! Let's get on that topic of energy. I can go on 100 miles an hour on that one, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I just, you know, I'm baffled. Like, and this is what I mean. Like, on Saturday when I was talking to my husband, he's like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, I just didn't know that we were at this point in 2022. You know, I support everybody that has the best heart out there, and that's all that I'm gonna say on that. If you have any questions, comment, concerns, you can DM me. You can comment below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. That lets you know when I drop a video. I love saying that. That let me know when you drop a video. I'm just kidding. Anyways, yeah. So for everybody else out there, to my team, I want to thank you. I didn't do it in my last video, but I am going to do it now. I want to thank you for supporting me always. Remember, love is love.
I'm the lady that'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place.
Son of a bitch. I have to do that so loud. Just tell me to get off my phone, weirdo. I'll get off my phone.
Let's talk about your mug and the message on your mug.
Mom, wife, boss.
Is that the right order?
100%. And mom, boss, wife. Maybe that's. This is Real Talk with Carmen. I jumped into it again. You don't want me jumping into it. Okay.